Hey guys, welcome to Dare to Defy 3, Stage 4, which is the same stage as the 6 Warrior Quest Area 5. However, with one big difference is obviously you can only use 3 people here. However, they did reduce the HP, where each boss only has 120 million HP as opposed to the 200 million in the 6 Warrior Quest. Unfortunately though, the shield mechanics on this stage is still the same, where the Golem, Boss C, will buff all 3 enemies with HP shields 3 times during the fight, and the values are also the same: 200,000 Brave Shield, 300,000 Brave Shield followed by 500,000 Brave Shield 3 times. And honestly, that's the biggest challenge on this stage, finding a way to navigate past those shields. There is no way to bypass the first and second shield. They will trigger the moment Boss C hits 59%. Even if you can bring Boss C from 90 to 59% in one hit, both triggers will still happen. They will just happen one after the other. You can skip the last shield threshold, which is done at 29% on Boss C, if you can somehow bring Boss C from 30% to 0 in one hit. That's easier on this stage because of the smaller HP pools. So 30% of 120 million is approximately 40 million, and if you can do that much in one hit, you can potentially bypass the last round of shields. That being said, the party here is Rubicante, Quina, and Twins, and a big shout out and credit to Rashomon from my Telegram chat group, who actually came up with this team comp first. There is no recording though, he only posted a screenshot, but really full credits and props to him for this idea. I was trying to find some sort of budget theme to make it through this stage so that I can save Quina and Rubicante for the last 3 stages, but honestly it's extremely difficult because of the shields. Not to mention there's only 2 characters in the entire game that can currently hit Force Weakness, which is Baltier and Mog, and I don't have either of their FRs. So the route for me is really kill them in one force time and enter force time before they hit 100% force gauge. Hence, unfortunately I think I have to use Rubicante here. I went early BT mode with Rubicante, mainly to help charge the force gauge, so you just have to spam like 4 or maybe 5 S2 at the start and then go into BT mode to charge the rest of the force gauge, which allows you to very easily win the force race with the boss. I'm using Twins force time on this stage because in Twins force time, not only does he carry a whopping plus 50% brave damage cap increase, which stacks nicely with Twins BT aura as well, so that's a lot of damage, but importantly, Twins also enchant the entire party with 5 elements. Doesn't actually help Rubicante because Rubicante is innately fire and you can't enchant him with other elements unless it's a true enchant. So unfortunately there are parts in this fight where Rubicante will be dealing 0 brave damage, but the elemental enchant is more useful for Quina. A big part of this fight is actually Quina's traps. Quina's traps does massive brave damage, which is the main way of dealing with the brave shields. So much to the point that I'm not skipping any of the brave shields here. I'm going through all 3 and I'm still killing all 3 enemies before the end of my force time. When I was going through the run, I was thinking of the enchant helping Quina deal massive damage. However, on hindsight, you don't really even need it with Quina because once his frog hits 10 stacks, he actually does rainbow brave damage. So potentially you could maybe get this done with Rubicante FR as well. However, with Rubicante, there's going to be parts of this fight where, like I said, he'll be dealing 0 brave damage because the bosses will absorb fire. He does help in between the shields, so if the shields are not up, Rubicante will deal very nice damage through his counters and then help you to reach the next shield threshold very easily. So right here is one example. You can see the resist word. So essentially the boss absorbs fire, but because you've landed a fire imperil, the fire becomes null fire damage instead, which really just means Rubicante will be hitting for 0 brief damage while the shields are up. Lastly, as I'm going through the motions here, a little bit about the call abilities, and this is quite key if you're bringing a party like this. First off, the boss in the middle will grant the entire enemy party with enhancement chip 3 times during the fight, once at the start and 2 times more. You must get rid of this buff and or prevent the buff from happening. So the way that I did it here is with the Aerith LD call. If you don't have Aerith LD call, use a call ability that fills up the buff slots of the bosses, something like a Faris LD call, and if you can land 8 frame debuffs on the boss, you will totally prevent the enhancement chip. So these are the 2 options that you have. Secondly, while the shields are up, anytime boss A or boss B attacks you, they will also auto paralyze your entire party, which means that you need some sort of debuff immunity. The way to get that is through the Lenna base call. Again, the base call, not the LD call, so everyone should have access to that. Using Lenna base call will buff your entire party with 4 turns of debuff immunity, and so you have to time that buff as well as possible, ideally right before boss C hits 89% and grants the first round of shields. Both the Aerith Seal Evil last 4 turns as well as the Lenna base call will also last 4 turns. That sounds pretty short, but as you will see on this fight, that is really just enough. With this party, you will deal a lot of damage and you will quickly melt through the boss's HP, especially with twins in play. Finally, coming to twins, he really chews through the shield, so you can use either his LD, his FR or his EX. Any one of them will eat through the shield regardless of which version of the shield it is. Even the 500k shield isn't an issue for twins. Twins also of course does massive damage when the shields are not up, so doesn't matter when his turn comes up, anytime his turn is up, you'll be very happy to have him have a turn. And the combination of twins plus Quina's traps is really enough to break through all the shields in this fight, in one force time to boot. Now some options, if you don't have twins, you can use Aerith in twins' place as well. I couldn't because my Aerith is locked on stage 1, but a party of Aerith, Quina and Rubicante have been proven to work. Plus with Aerith in play, she gives your entire party the debuff immunity to protect you from the paralysis, and of course she will be able to land Seal Evil every time she gets a turn. So the enemy enhancement chips and the paralysis that they can land on you is a non-issue with Aerith in the party, which means that this frees up call slots and you can potentially use other calls in place of Lenna and the Aerith call. Now, I'm not gonna lie here, at this point I was starting to get a little bit worried because I only have 3 turns left on my force time and I'm really only halfway through the fight. On top of this, boss C seems to be being damaged far less compared to boss A and boss B. I guess part of the issue was the shields lasted a little bit longer on boss C. However, I do still have a little bit of echoes left, and I'm of course getting high in the force bonus percentage, so at this point onwards the HP damage should be significantly faster. Right here I'm really amazed on how much damage twins actually did. What I did here is use one echo on twins, which is instant turn, and followed up by one of his LD, and just look at how much difference the before and after HP is on the bosses. So just doing that killed off boss A and brings both remaining bosses to the raid and triggers the last round of the shields. I decided to hold off on summon a little bit because both Quina and Rubicante still have 1 echoes each, so I was thinking try to get the force bonus percentage as high as possible before popping summon. I was also hoping that in between, as the bosses get some turns here, Rubicante's counters will deal a little bit of damage, but again it's hard because the brave damage gets absorbed by the shield. One turn of force time remaining, so Bahamut summon, let's go, and hopefully Twins will be able to finish off the fight. Alright, hope this video has been helpful, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe, it really helps a lot. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Dare to Defy stage. Bye!